Battle Through the Heavens, Grand World. Chapter 244 The Ancient Soul Beast. The Holy Rank trial required 15 years. Up until now, Xiao Yan had been in Forest Domain for more than 7 to 8 years. As for the Yunluo Academy, they were not far away. Finally, it was time for him to reap the rewards after nearly 10 years of hard work. Xiao Yan held back the excitement in his heart, and his eyes dimmed. The main reason why he was able to save so much time was because of Elder Yi's help. Back then, in the illusory realms set up by Elder Yi in Forest Domain, he had used 1 year's time to achieve results that he would need several years to achieve in the outside world. At the last moment, Elder Yi used his powerful soul power. He directly teleported himself to the falling rock city not far from the border of Forest Domain. This time, it was enough to save nearly a year or two. Xiao Yan shook his head and suppressed the trace of discomfort that spread in his heart. He squatted down and wrapped his hands with the monarch flame. He found a special spot on the earth fire profound crystal beast's head, and with a kai sound, he took out the heavenly core on its head. The moment the heavenly core appeared, the origin monarch key in the surrounding space immediately became wild and violent. It crazily surged and surged towards it. The golden heavenly core sparkled with a golden light and was filled with a powerful might. Luckily, this big guy isn't a monarch emperor level heavenly beast. If he had evolved into an emperor cultivation and transformed into a human body, even I wouldn't dare face him head on. Jade Fairy looked at the bloody corpse with her beautiful eyes and smiled. Her tone was filled with emotion. Xiao Yan nodded slightly as if he had thought of something. He suddenly looked at Xiao Yan and Jade Fairy and said in a deep voice, "Pavilion Master Yu, do you know about the Soul Demon?" Soul Demon. Jade Fairy heard this and frowned slightly. Her eyes flashed with a thoughtful look. She did not have any clue about this unfamiliar name for a while. Xiao Yan kept the earth fire profound crystal beast's heavenly core into his storage ring. After hesitating for a moment, he kept the corpse. After all, it was in existence at the peak of the middle rank heavenly beast. It was likely that its physical body would be extremely useful. After doing all of this, Xiao Yan looked at Jade Fairy. The reason why he mentioned the Soul Demon was because he had inquired about the Gu Wu from the first elder of the Shao clan when he was in the Shao clan. Even with the latter's knowledge, he had never heard of it. It was likely that some people with rich experience would know about the name of the Soul Demon. Jade Fairy gently nodded her head under Xiao Yan's gaze and said, "Yes. Soul Demon. I have heard of it. According to legend, during the ancient times, the Soul Demon wreaked havoc. Later on, an extraordinary expert appeared. The entire great world stirred up a bloody storm. Finally, the entire Soul Demon clan was killed or sealed. Only then did the chaos of war subside." After hearing Jade Fairy's few words, Xiao Yan nodded slightly. After musing for a moment, he asked, "Who is that ninth disciple?" Jade Fairy looked at Xiao Yan with some surprise when she heard this. After pondering for a moment, she said with some uncertainty, "The so-called 9 disciples are the 9 kings of the Soul Demon clan back then. They command tens of millions of soul demons to fight against the entire great world. They can be considered peerless. If I remember correctly, this star-severing mountain range is one of the 9 disciples that fell, and its name is Tai Qi." Tai Qi. Xiao Yan nodded slightly when he heard this, and led millions of people to become enemies with the entire great world. These 9 disciples were truly bold. However, at that time, the Nether Domain was wreaking havoc. The Soul Demon and the Nether Domain's snake rats were together, trying to control the entire great world. In the end, the ancient expert attacked. This war could be considered to have calmed down. Speaking up to this point, Jade Fairy was also amazed. This level of battle was already beyond her imagination. "Oh right, you suddenly asked you about the Soul Demon. What do you mean? Could it be that fellow is a Soul Demon?" After regaining her senses, Jade Fairy suddenly looked at Xiao Yan and spoke in a deep voice. Xiao Yan smiled bitterly and nodded his head. "They are now called Gu Wu." "What?" Jade Fairy's smiling face turned pale when she heard Xiao Yan's words. She took a deep breath and forced herself to calm down. Jade Fairy patted her proud chest with lingering fear. No wonder that fellow can control the earth fire profound crystal beast. It is actually a remnant of the Soul Demon clan. After 1,000,000 years, are they going to come out and cause trouble for the great world again? Pausing, Jade Fairy gritted her teeth and said, Yanjushuan, this fellow actually colluded with the Soul Demon. If I had known earlier, I would have killed him no matter what. After hearing Jade Fairy's angry words, Xiao Yan smiled bitterly. It was just like what the Great Elder had said. Even though so many years had passed, the expression of those who knew about it still changed when they talked about it. Soul Demon, a cancer in the great world. Jade Fairy's eyes dimmed. Although she had never experienced the tragic era, it could be seen from the ancient books that in that era, the Soul Demon had caused the entire great world to be in a foul mood. Although there were only tens of millions of clansmen, however, their strange ability to control the experts who had died in various eras and occupy many realms was unparalleled. If not for the fact that the 9 disciples had been sealed by the ancient expert and the Soul Demon had no leader, the current great world would probably be an abyss of suffering. Xiao Yan remained silent after hearing this. Although he didn't have any feelings towards the Soul Demon, the hatred he felt from the soul race of Fighting Key Continent was no less than Jade Fairy's. Forget it. Let's not talk about this anymore. After a million years, the number of experts in the great world had reached a terrifying number. It's not a million years ago now. If the Soul Demon dares to appear, those old antiques of the great worlds won't sit idly by. Jade Fairy exhaled. She chuckled and did not mind at all. By the way, you are going to the Yunluo Academy, right? This place is not far from the Myriad Spirit Prefecture. With your speed, if you walk, you will arrive in about half a month's time. Once you reach the Myriad Spirit Prefecture, you will not be far from the Yunluo Academy. Turning her head, Jade Fairy smiled gently at Xiao Yan. Before the latter could speak, Jade Fairy suddenly stretched out her hand and gently stroked Xiao Yan's cheek. She smiled sweetly and said, "You first heal your injuries. I will protect you." After she finished speaking, her body leapt and arrived in the sky. With her back facing Xiao Yan, her beautiful eyes contained a complicated expression as she looked into the distance. Xiao Yan opened his mouth, but in the end, he didn't say anything. He quietly sat down cross-legged and started to adjust his breathing. With the protection of an expert like Jade Fairy, he did not have to worry about anything. He observed his nose and quickly entered into a state of cultivation. Jade Fairy, who was in the air, lightly stepped into the void. She turned her head and looked down. Xiao Yan's breathing was uniform. The Origin Monarch Key around his body slowly flowed, and a faintly discernible feeling of breaking through spontaneously arose. Not bad. If you work hard, you should be able to break through to the 6 Paths Monarch Spirit. Jade Fairy looked at Xiao Yan. The corner of her mouth revealed a trace of a smile. It was a beautiful smile that could not be described with words. After a long while, Jade Fairy finally sighed. She extended her hand to touch her forehead and laughed bitterly. Her body slowly landed beside Xiao Yan. She looked at Xiao Yan's determined face and involuntarily extended her hand. Her hand stopped when it was about half an inch away from Xiao Yan's face. Jade Fairy's hand trembled slightly. She withdrew it and gently smiled at Xiao Yan. Her pretty eyes revealed a complicated emotion. Immediately, she stood up and gently waved her hand, forming an Emperor Cultivation Expert's Origin Monarch Key protection around Xiao Yan. She hesitated for a moment. Jade Fairy took out a jade pearl and gently placed it under Xiao Yan's feet. After which, she resolutely turned around. With a flash, her lovely body soared into the sky and rushed in a different direction from the Myriad Spirit Manor. Not long after Jade Fairy left, Xiao Yan's tightly shut eyes slowly opened. At the same time, a powerful aura shot out from the top of his head into the sky, causing the surrounding rocks to shatter. 6 Monarch Spirit. Hi guys, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.